So you've been following all these scientific studies and you've not been getting the progress you thought. We're going to explain to you why science has been letting you down.
And before all you geek slaters out there, understand this. Are you still fat and do you still have no muscle? I'm guessing if you're watching this video, then yes. Let's go.
So, first things first, we're going to talk to you about a certain study, and this is going to help you understand how these studies are taken out of context and used for personal agendas to win arguments, and people tend to take these studies and chop them apart, take out things they don't need, and just give you the information that helps them win their argument.
Yes, misrepresentation is a massive thing when it comes to studies. There are so many reasons why that they are misrepresented for sales usually, but we'll go into one particular study. So there's always in the vegan community, and we're not bashing on vegans by the way, we're just breaking down a study. It's always you hear about meat gives you cancer, and they've actually based that off of a study, just one study, and the study was on heme iron, and heme iron is essentially what you find in most meats, fish, beef, all that type of stuff. And they introduced heme iron into a rat, and they noticed that the cancer cells of that particular rat went up by about 18%, as opposed to non-heme iron, which is a vegetarian version that you find in some plants. And you think, oh my God.
Yeah, that's evidence, that's proof that meat gives cancer. However, there's a big part of that study that got left out, which is when they increased the calcium levels of the certain rats back up to their normal levels.
Yes.
What happened?
They basically said that they made them deliberately calcium deficient, but people actually forget that part of the study, misrepresent that. When the calcium levels went back to normal, of course, the rats' cancer levels went back to normal. And what's the biggest problem with also that study is that it's not based on
humans. We are not rats, we are humans.
Yes. So until there are human trials, until there are a meta-analysis of studies put together, even then it might not be 100% accurate because there's always agendas. However, the more studies come out that are correlating to that, and the more that come back as a positive, yes, meat does give you cancer, then we'll agree. But until that point, it's a massive misrepresentation. So
that's just to give you an idea of how these studies can be taken out of context to be used in certain agendas to push, plant-based diets. There's nothing wrong with plant-based diet, but if it's being pushed for the wrong reasons, then obviously then becomes a problem. So that's just giving an example of how these studies can get used out of context.
So if you like this so far, please hit that subscribe button. Please watch the video to the end because we have a point to this video. So watch the next couple of bits all the way through and you'll understand why science can actually help, but also why it holds you back.
Indeed. Right, so let's relate this to you now. So let's talk about studies such as diet. So very, very big push at the moment on these science-based diets like keto, intermittent fasting, and these all fantastic, perfect diets.
Keto's best.
Yeah, it works for everyone. So, it may work for some, may not work for others. And the reason for that is because my body is different to Johnny's body.
Shocking.
Johnny's body is different to your body. So it's all subjective and it's all based on your genetics, your allergies, everything about you that makes you you is impacted by the diet you eat. So what intermittent fasting may work for me around my lifestyle, but it may not work for you. So there's huge factors that are taken out of these studies that you don't really hear about, and it's very, again, subjective, and they push this perfect keto diet that's fantastic, 100% guaranteed to get you the best body you've ever had in your life because of these positive factors, but you never ever see the negative side of things. So that's one thing to look at, is it may work for this guy on Instagram that's ripped to hell, but it's a new thing. So what's he been doing for the other 10 years of his life where he's been training? It's not on keto, get ripped as hell, then go on to keto.
Yeah, it's a long-term process. Long-term progress isn't necessarily a short-term diet. And diet doesn't work for very long. It can work short-term for your weight loss, but yet again, taking into account, does a person have a different iron level deficiency, vitamin D, riboflavin, thiamine? So many people have different responses to foods and certain diets that it could be extremely bad for one person and also actually make them really unwell, and then extremely good for another person because it works really well with their body and their genetics.
Yeah, so there's people, like, for example, who have epilepsy that are pushing a keto diet because that actually helps them reduce the amount of seizures they have.
Yes. So it's each to their own. So it's trial and error. Essentially, if someone says something to you is amazing, take it with a pinch of salt, because it might not be. But at the same time, at the same time, it is for them. So that's why there's so many disconnects in the community. One person goes, yes, it's the best. The other person goes, no, awful, don't do that. And again, it's down to the individual. So
so it's not all about, it's scientifically proven for certain people.
Yeah.
But you need to prove it for yourself. Right, so we've covered the diets. Now look at workouts. Scientifically proven workouts are guaranteed to build you maximum muscle growth. So, same principle applies. This workout that's being pushed by this bodybuilder on Instagram may have worked for him, and it's this brand new revolutionary workout that is created by using science. But again, what has he been doing for the last 15, 20 years to build all this muscle and to get all this promotion and get all this glam behind him? So this is a scientific proven workout that he's probably not even done himself. And you'll find that you've got 1,000, 2,000 people have done this workout, and you hear about 1,000 people or 500 people that have had success from it. Then there's a large number of people that haven't had any success, and that's what's letting people down, is the science behind them.
Yeah, it's usually like 10%, if that. And they'll go, yes, so if we use a unilateral movement and we get across and we use this in the rotator cuff and we get a 130-degree angle, therefore chest produces results. No. just no. It's based on the individual yet again. Yes, there are some exercises that are better than others, but also, again, if we're talking about chest exercise, for instance, some people better with dumbbells, some people better at bench press, on barbell, some people are better at cables. It depends on their width of their actual shoulder length. So think about this across here. If some people have wide shoulders, they've probably got a lot longer chest heads, so they're much more likely to get bigger chests. However, people with narrow shoulders also have bad genetics of having narrow shoulders. I've got very narrow shoulders, I have to work on mine. Also means I've got a very long chest. So my muscle genetics work completely different to yours, for instance.
My chest tends to bulk up quite quickly and easily. If I do a week or two of chest training, I tend to blow up, whereas it takes you a lot longer because you've got a longer... So you're, again, genetics, science.
But also, conversely to that, I'm because I have a much narrower base, I'm also much better at strength exercises. So again, if someone said, all right, I'm better at strength, blah blah blah, here's a 5 5 5 5 5 3 1, whatever. They're just a base level program. There's something to follow to keep a structure, a routine. It doesn't mean that they're the best. You can deviate slightly from a program. I mean, some people's genetics in terms of muscle fibers, some people have better slow twitch, some people have better fast twitch. Some people neurologically are just better at certain movements, i.e. they just fundamentally can move better than another individual. And also some people pick things up quicker than others.
So then you have to look at not only the genetic side of things, it's also technique, your ability level, your ability to learn and pick up new movements. Sometimes it takes you longer to adapt to a movement than it does to others. So if they build a program that in 8 weeks you're going to guarantee to be able to do press-ups, there's no guarantee, because it could take you a lot longer to do two or three or four press-ups on the floor than it could for us.
So the studies might show, let's say, one group of individuals who are well-trained and another group who aren't well-trained, and yet the response of that same exercise stimulus, let's say a push-up for instance, comes out with completely different results. Because some people have been trained all their lives, they have a prerequisite of neurological pathways that allow them to use the action much better, so therefore they're able to get much better results. However, if you've been training for a very long time, muscle growth also slows down. So intermediary stage, I would find that a lot of people gain much more muscle because they've built up that neurological pathways to get the correct technique and form. And then of course they're still in the early stages of training, so they can gain muscle a lot faster.
They grow quicker.
Providing the diet and everything's on point as well. So it's completely down to the individual. And let's say, for instance, like I've said about fast twitch, slow twitch, muscle fibers, that essentially means some people are built more for speed, i.e. they could probably lift a heavy weight off the ground or squat down and up quicker. Some people are built more for control, like more stable. Some people are built for slower, stronger. That's why you find some people who are good at running.
Yeah, definitely.
And that essentially kind of brings us to the point of, does a program work? Yes, but only if you stick to it and adapt it slightly to your variant. So if you don't know what your variant is, that is something you have to learn on your own, and you go, right, this exercise or this rep range doesn't work for me. What other exercise can I change out for that one individual exercise?
And how do you work that out?
Trial and error.
Trial and error. You hire an experienced trainer,
Yes,
someone who's actually good at what they do.
Subscribe.
Who will be able to look at you and give you feedback on your movement, your hip width, etc., and say, right, this is how you should be squatting, this is how you should be doing press-ups, based on your genetics. So a good trainer should be doing that for you.
Yeah, and then going like for the squatting, what you said here, like hip width, etc. There is no perfect way to squat. There is a basis of squatting, i.e. like hinge hip.
Yeah, fundamentals.
Yeah, go down to 90 degrees or just below. But yeah, depending on your hip, you know, if you've got wide hips, you might have to have a much wider stance because your hips, you can't get beyond the girdle area. So everyone squats slightly differently. However, they're not necessarily wrong. It's just finding your way of doing things.
So it's a great analogy for programs in general. So your program, the best program for you is one you built yourself.
Yes.
Right then, we are flipping back to the nutrition side of things. Flipping back, think back now.
Nutrition.
We're talking about calories now, calorie intake. So again, scientifically proven calorie intake. So all of these calculators are out there online. They're all based on averages. So the average male, you hear it like is 2,000 to 2,500 calories.
5'10" male.
Yeah, and females X amount of calories per day. That's based on averages, but everyone's calorie intake is completely different.
Yes.
So mine, Johnny's, yours, we're all different in terms of how much food and the type of macronutrients we need per day. That goes on genetics. It goes on activity, so how much you're moving each day. It also goes on your training level. So if you just started out training, or you've been training for years and you've built up a higher metabolism, all these things play a factor in how many calories you need to eat per day. So going back to the whole workout thing, the best type of nutrition plan to have is one that you've worked out and works for you best.
Yeah. So base it on the average. That's why we use scientific studies. We base it on the average. So let's say a 5'10" male, similar to my height, should have 2,500 calories a day. However, if someone like myself works out regularly, mine's like 3,300 calories a day because I work out every day. However, someone who has a very limited workout ethic, they don't work out very much, that will probably be 2,500, maybe even a little bit less. Then people metabolize better than others. I.e., so if you're 13 stone and someone else is 13 stone, one person could be 30% body fat, the other one could be 15% body fat. Of course, they're going to metabolize completely different. So yeah, again, start off at the average, and then each week, if you don't notice any changes in your weight or fluctuations, just either bring it down or up slightly. So if you're losing weight too quickly, like 3 or 4 pounds a week, obviously you need to eat a little bit more.
Yeah, just up by 100 calories or decrease by 100 calories. So keep that range, then up and low, and eventually you'll get to the point where, okay, well, I'm happy with this sort of eating. But then, as you do start losing weight, if that's your goal, because your body's going to be smaller, and if you're training regularly, your metabolism's going to get better and better, you're going to eventually you're going to need less calories because you weigh less.
Yeah.
But then if you're trying to put weight on, build muscle, you're going to need more and more and more and more calories as time goes on.
And as you metabolize more, in other words, the more muscle you grow, the higher metabolic rate you have, in other words, means you can eat more calories, even though you have less fat. So in other words, yeah, again, it's basically down to the individual components, how long you've been training for. It's so varied, but start with the base level and then work your way up or down as need be. Want to gain muscle, put on weight. Want to lose fat, lose weight. Want to lose fat and gain muscle, then I don't know how to help you because it's very difficult to do.
Yeah, so focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah, so that's just focusing down on macros now. Yeah. So yeah, again, some people don't need as much protein as others. We've done videos before where we've talked about 0.8 grams to 1.2 based on a kilo body weight. Of course, that's, yeah, again, it's a base level. Some people need more protein, and some people just shit through the eye of a needle. So I wouldn't recommend, there is some studies that's actually shown that you can eat 300 to 400 grams of protein per day and still be fine.
Yeah.
Based on the individual.
Yeah. So if someone's huge,
yeah,
like powerlifters, and yeah, they're going to need more protein if they're a bigger mass. Whereas someone like me, I don't need as much protein. I'm teeny tiny.
I'm not teeny tiny, but
teeny tiny.
You know, you still have a good decent amount,
150
grams per day.
150 to 190, depending on what I've been training.
And I have about 200, 250. I can eat protein all day and it doesn't really affect me. However, I'm about 200 pounds. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I'm no means the smallest. It's just that you've got to base it to your individual needs. Yeah, again, start on the base levels between 0.8 to 1.2. That would mean just start with 1 gram, and then build up from there. Indeed. Right, let's move on. In closing, we thought we'd have to do something together because, you know, homies. Anyways, in closing,
Go on.
use the study as a baseline, not as absolute fact. So every study has obviously some form of relevance. So you have to base it down to your individual level on top of the study. Once you start on the baseline, work your way out of it. If you need to, like we said, if something says 5x5 and it's not working, change it to 531 or 544. Put it down to your individual needs, essentially.
Yes, it's all down to you as an individual. So there's no magic workout, magic nutrition plan that's going to work canvas across the board. It's always going to be different for results for each person that tries it. So don't just rely solely on information you hear. You have to try it, you have to experiment, you have to try and find a way to make it work for you. So don't be lazy with this shit, you've got to do it.
Yeah, there's so many people in the comments who have probably read a study but not actually done any of it. So unless you do it, unless you practice it, you don't know how well it works.
No, we wouldn't give you any information that we haven't tested ourselves.
Yeah. So this is based on studies with our own personal training ability, based on our clients, based on ourselves, and obviously we've collected data on ourselves over several years. But yet again, just because I give you a plan doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. It's just that I have an idea of what may work for you, then I have to adapt it over time.
Yes, exactly. You okay, that's not working, let's add this in instead, or let's change it to this, or you know what, we nailed it first time, that program works perfectly for you.
Yeah. Until your body adapts, then you have to move on and do another one. You work strength, stability, speed, power, muscle endurance, muscle growth. You know, you've got your different, muscle maintenance, so many things you can go into. But yet again, it's also based down to your individual needs. What are you wanting to train?
Indeed.
Don't just follow a study because it says this is the best. Do it down to what you want to do.
Exactly.
Anyway,
that's it. So, if you liked what you heard today, then please subscribe, comment below, and share this video out to your friends. If you didn't like what you heard today, subscribe, comment down below, and share this video out to your friends.
just do it.
Just please share.
Yes. And if you don't subscribe, then
just share it out to people. Look at these pair of douches.
Yes.
That's not everything. Listen out to eggs and have a laugh. It's fine.
Those idiots. Talk.
Subscribe, and then just every week we put a video out. Just subscribe, and then you get the video and just
and then share it with your mates so you can laugh at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always better as a group. It's more fun. Right. Share.